Hi, I'm Bridget. Welcome to my kitchen where I help busy families eat well with wholesome and delicious recipes. If you're looking for a way to add oomph to a weeknight meal, then a marinade is the way to go. Marinades are so easy to throw together. They add loads of flavor and they help keep your food from drying out during cooking. Today I'm sharing two delicious marinade recipes. One that's excellent with pork, chicken, salmon, and mushrooms, and another that is my family's favorite way to eat shrimp and whitefish like cod and haddock. We'll start with what I call magic marinade because it's so versatile. It's a soy-based marinade that has just enough sweet. It's sweetened with a combination of molasses and maple syrup, and the molasses is a really great complement to that sharp flavor of soy. We'll start with 1/4 cup of oil, and to that we will add 3 tablespoons of soy sauce or tamari, and you can use a light soy sauce for this if you'd like. And then a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Add some nice flavor. And then 2 tablespoons of molasses. And on top of that, 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. And then for extra flavor, I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika, which is a really delicious addition because it has such a smoky flavor. Along with the smoked paprika, I'm adding 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and a teaspoon of an Italian herb blend, or you could just use oregano if you'd like. And then lots of black pepper. And I'm mixing it in this mason jar so I can give it a good shake before I pour it on chicken, because that's what I'm cooking it with today. And I haven't added any salt because the soy adds more than enough salt to the flavor, I think. Well, not too much, but you don't need any added salt when you're using soy. So we'll give it a good mix here. Make sure everything is combined. And then I have 8 chicken thighs. So I'm going to pour about half the marinade on the chicken. I want to save some of the marinade for mushrooms because I have 1 pound of mushrooms that I'm going to cook along with this. There we go. And I'll just mix it around a little bit. Now I'm going to let these marinate for about 20 minutes. But if you have time, you could even mix these up the day before and put them in a Ziploc bag and let them marinate overnight. But if you don't have a lot of time, then no worries, 20 minutes will suffice. You want to make sure everything gets well coated. There we go. And I'm going to cover these and put them in the fridge just for 20 minutes. While the chicken is marinating, I'll show you how to make the marinade for my family's very favorite shrimp dish. This is a marinade that's filled with paprika and lots of herbs. We'll start with just 1/3 cup of oil. And actually the original recipe, as my mom found it, called for a full 1/2 cup, but really 1/3 cup is sufficient. And just a splash of Worcestershire sauce. To that I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of molasses, just a little bit of sweet. And then for seasoning, I've got 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder and 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Now you could use fresh garlic if you like, just 1 minced clove of garlic, and you could use fresh onion if you like, just 1/4 onion minced. I'm also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of dried rosemary. I'll just crumble it a little bit more, and 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. And then I have 2 teaspoons of paprika. We'll add just 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. And then I'm going to add a splash of, to Tabasco sauce, but you could also just use a little bit of cayenne, or you could use some crushed red pepper. Now for a little bit of acidity, we're going to do about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So that's about the juice of a lemon. Maybe juice of a lemon can be up to like 3 tablespoons, but if you want to just eye it. All right, so about 2 tablespoons. And then finally, I'm going to mince a little bit of Italian parsley. This marinade is delicious with white fish as well. We'll often use it with haddock or cod. And it's nice with cauliflower too. So we'll add it's about a tablespoon, I guess, of minced or chopped parsley. And then finally, a bay leaf. We'll just mix that together. I have a pound of shrimp. And I'm going to use all of it on the shrimp. And we'll let this marinate as well. You could cook it right off the bat, but we'll let it marinate for a little bit. Smells delicious, all that paprika. There, into the fridge it goes. Once the shrimp has had a few minutes to marinate, but not more than 20, you can put them in a large baking dish or something that's large enough to accommodate them in a single layer. We're going to cook them right in the marinade, and that means that there will be lots of flavorful liquid that will soak into rice, which is what I prefer to eat this shrimp dish with. Now that we have our shrimp all set in the baking dish, we're going to cook it in a very hot oven. That's 450 degrees, but only for about 10 minutes, just until it gets nice and pink. For the chicken in the magic marinade, I'm going to cook it with a pound of mushrooms. These are sliced mushrooms, so they will go in the baking dish first. And then remember, we didn't use all of the marinade on the chicken, so I'm going to pour some of that over the mushrooms. This marinade is great if you want to make a double batch and just to have it in the fridge, because it makes it a lot faster to be able to put this kind of dish together. Okay, I'm also just going to slice or chop a little bit of parsley to mix in with the mushrooms. Not too much, just a tablespoon or 2. And no worries if you don't have parsley. This dish doesn't need it. It just adds a nice dash of color. All right. And I'll just chop it. It doesn't need to be minced. It doesn't need to be too tiny. There we go. Sprinkle it over. And then I'm just going to nestle the chicken kind of in around the mushrooms. So everything is going to cook together. So the mushroom juice is going to blend in with everything. And I'm just going to discard the marinade that the chicken had been in the fridge. There, now that will go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes, but you'll just want to check it at the 25-minute mark or even at the 20-minute mark. It depends how large your chicken thighs are, but I would say on average about 30 minutes, then it should be ready. Our shrimp has been in for 10 minutes at 450, so I'm sure it's ready. Yes, it's nice and pink and bubbling away. So this flavorful shrimp dish is so delicious served with rice and broccoli or cauliflower. You'll want to make sure you serve it with something that lets you soak up all of this delicious marinade. Now let's get our chicken in the oven. I'm going to add just a little bit more marinade over top. This will cook for about 30 minutes at 350 degrees. The exact time really depends on how large your chicken thighs are, so you might want to start checking at about 25 minutes. Our chicken is almost ready, and I'm going to just baste it once to make sure the tops of the chicken thighs stay nice and moist. And there are all kinds of great pan juices here, and the mushrooms are cooking beautifully. There we go. Just gave everything a nice coating. And another 5 minutes of cooking, and it will be ready to eat. So our chicken took 30 minutes on the nose to cook, and it looks beautiful and it is so fragrant. Just going to top it with a little bit more parsley, and it is ready to serve. So there you go, 2 easy weeknight meals made with delicious, versatile marinades. Bon appetit!